Greetings.
Hello again.
Welcome to Counting Cryptids.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Connor. How are y'all today?
You can't ask questions. It doesn't
I
work that way.
can.
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
They responded to me on the internet.
Drink already. Okay. I guess quick disclaimer. This week's not really a cryptid.
Yeah. In light of recent events, this has become today's show.
There's a growing movement right now, and this is gaining some attention and popularity. So,
Yeah.
in an attempt to cash in on that, Connor suggested that we do this. So today we're talking about Area 51.
Yeah, fuck it.
But before we get into that, you posted a poll on Instagram.
I did, and I posted a screenshot of the Facebook page for the event.
Oh, what event?
The Facebook event, Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us.
Oh, okay.
On September 20th.
2019?
This year.
Okay.
So it's a few months away.
It's 2 months and 6 days.
Okay, it's 2 months and 6 days away. And I'm afraid people are gonna forget about it by then. That's a long time in internet time. 2 months.
2 months is a long time. I don't know. The boys meme has been around for more than 2 months now. Me and the boys. Those have been around for that's still holding strong. Make sure you follow us on Instagram so you can answer those polls when we go live and then talk about them at the end of the episode. I don't think we remember to do that last time. Did you do that on your own?
Do what?
So that's a no. Okay.
Did I remember to talk about it at the end? Yes, I put it in the episode.
You did? I didn't listen.
There's the one thing. If I didn't give clear audio on anything, it was maybe that one clip of me in post. Last episode was a fucking train wreck. Like, it was a great episode, I thought, and the world just took a shit on it.
So, before we really get started on this, do you have any idea when or where this came into your life?
No, not really. It's one of those almost cultural things,
like Bigfoot and Loch Ness monster sort of thing. You just always sort of known about it.
And it's weird because it's like specifically Area 51.
I can't. So my thought is like I think like secret bases and stuff like that was in a lot of things. So that was always something that was there. So then this just kind of slid right in.
The evil lair.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was some sort of like ancient aliens thing or something.
I'm
but
sure.
Like the movie Independence Day, even like
that's a good one.
I don't know. I don't know. This one's
just aliens and Area 51 just have always been together as far back as I can remember.
Yeah, I really wish that I like knew when I first heard of this, but I got nothing specific.
If you could afford a time machine,
I would not
rewind your whole life and try and figure out the exact moment that you first mentioned Area 51 or Area.
I think there's a lot more important things I could be doing with a time machine than that, but sure.
I think that's the first test though.
So if for some reason you don't know what Area 51 is,
it's in Nevada.
So it is a highly classified remote detachment of Edwards Air Force Base within the Nevada Test and Training Range. According to the CIA, the correct name for the facility is Homey Airport and Groom Lake.
What do they call it? Something like
Dreamland or Paradise Ranch is also some names that have been used for it. I think that was to make it seem more appealing to get people to come there. Yep.
It's not like a fucking tourist attraction though, like.
No, but like people to work there. I guess. To come live there.
Like, hey, like we can fly you out like right by Las Vegas.
I have something about this in here even. Where the fuck is it at?
According to Wikipedia, at least.
Yeah,
and I've heard in other places
all of my information.
Correct. So people that work there, Area 51 personnel, are transported by a small fleet of passenger aircraft operated on behalf of the U.S. Air Force, and planes travel to and from Area 51 to McCarran International Airport.
So the base's current primary purpose is publicly unknown. However, based on historical evidence, it most likely supports the development and testing of experimental aircraft and weapon systems, black projects. The intense secrecy surrounding the base has made it the frequent subject of conspiracy theories and a central component to unidentified flying object folklore. Although it has never been declared a secret base, all research that occurs in Area 51 is top secret / sensitive compartmented information. On the 25th of June 2013, following a Freedom of Information Act request filed in 2005, the CIA publicly acknowledged the existence of the base for the first time, declassifying documents detailing the history and purpose of Area 51.
And I want to interject here because I had a thought right before we came down to record about like a group of ex-workers or workers at Area 51 that came forth and like tried to sue the U.S. government because they were had like
sick.
They had like it's burns and the shit on their skin and breathing problems. Allegedly, there was like giant trenches the size of football fields, like full of like old equipment and just hazardous waste and like whatever was being like produced or thrown out there.
Oofda.
And they're just pouring jet fuel on it and lighting it on fire, according to these. But obviously, like they can't sue a entity that is not identified by the United States government, because then that would just break it. So that was
part of the lawsuit that came out.
Like they were trying to sue the government,
so they had
to like acknowledge it.
They filed a Freedom of Information Act request to get this specific information, and then in 2013 they got some of it.
They got like 400 pages.
Did they fucking win the lawsuit?
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I think they're all dead. I'll be real with you.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
That sounds terrible. Maybe they're not dead. I'm sorry. Maybe they're not dead.
No one died in the making of this episode
that we know of.
The base is located in the southern portion of Nevada, 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas, at the center of the southern shore of Groom Lake,
which is a dry lake bed. Yeah.
Sea. Yes. Excuse me. Yes. It's a large military airfield acquired by the United States Air Force in 1955, primarily for flight testing of the Lockheed U-2 aircraft.
Yes.
You have some shit about that aircraft.
I have a little bit of shit about that aircraft.
I have a little bit of shit about that aircraft.
You also have a little bit of shit.
What you have about that aircraft is that I have shit
I have
about that
you have shit about this aircraft, yeah.
Weird. Okay, so what I have about the aircraft is in my notes somewhere.
I have the quote, so when you get to that point.
Oh, so it is nicknamed Dragon Lady and is an American single-jet engine, ultra-high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft operated by the United States Air Force and previously flown by the Central Intelligence Agency. It provides day and night high-altitude, all-weather intelligence gathering.
Damn, that sounds badass.
I mean, this is old news at this point, though.
Yeah. 1955. I
feel like if you search for U2, you're just going to find the band before you find the fucking thing.
Easily.
One way to find out.
U-2.
Okay. Oh, wow. But if it's just U2, then it's the band.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm uncultured.
It is what it is. So, you said they tested the U2 at this Area 51.
Yes, that was...
So allegedly, the designer Johnson Kelly at Lockheed, who designed the U-2, they were looking for a place to test the plane out of the public's view, like
makes sense.
Secretly, like they don't want to.
It's for reconnaissance,
right?
Recon.
It needs to be. It's a fucking spy
secret
plane.
Yeah,
like you can't tell people about it.
Shit, you don't want people to know. You don't want other people to know.
Other people, yeah.
You don't want your enemies to know. Yeah,
exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's why they do it. So they came from Edwards, and moments after they like got in the air, they saw Groom Lake, and Kelly Johnson is quoted as saying, "We flew over it, and within 30 seconds, you knew that was the place. It was right by Dry Lake. Man alive, we looked at that lake, and we all looked at each other. It was Edwards, so we wheeled around, landed on that take, taxied up to one end of it. It was a perfect natural landing field." And so in 1955, they slowly turned it from a barren desert and dry lake to a more bigger one.
Was it previously? It was like for like nuclear testing took place there or something.
Nuclear testing takes place near Area 51.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure.
I suppose
where
yeah, it's just in that was
Nevada desert.
Unsure
somewhere.
if that's like what they're referring to as the groom box as well. I saw that term used in regards to like
super weird because there's
the
S4
space.
as well.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about S4 because apparently there's multiple. I guess maybe should have put this at the beginning too. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of like there's an area, there's a couple of different things, and like it's just we have to talk about all of that.
It's just collectively Area 51. Just
yeah, you know, clickbaity.
Right. This will be our first monetized podcast.
Not a chance in hell.
No. There was also some other secret programs carried out at Area 51.
Oh, tell me.
The Ox Cart program,
yes,
in August of 1959, was established for, quote, anti-radar studies, aerodynamic structural tests, and engineering designs, and would later work on the Lockheed A12. This is like another point in 59 where they expanded to work on different projects and make it more suited for testing, like longer runways, more buildings, more people.
They added a lot of buildings and like there was a lot of construction going on during that time. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After the A12, they discussed developing.
What's the A12?
The A12 is an airplane.
We didn't talk about that.
It's a stealth airplane. They're just coming out with stealth airplanes. I wouldn't say
they just call them the same thing. U2, A12.
There's like different
B12?
styles, like
D12 is D12.
Or, yeah.
Remember what D12 was?
Yeah.
The Eminem group. D12, y'all. I'm gonna get started. But what about Eminem? Bitch, are you retarded?
I am, familiar with that song. What do you want to look? Do you want to talk about it? I don't really.
But what?
The A12.
The Lockheed A12 was a reconnaissance aircraft built for the United States Central Intelligence Agency by Lockheed Skunk Works, based on designs of Clarence Kelly Johnson. The aircraft was designated A12, the 12th in a series of internal design efforts for Archangel, the aircraft's internal code name. So presumably Archangel 12 is what A12 stands for.
Sure.
It's another fucking secret. It's a spy plane.
Yeah, it's a spy plane. And after that was the D-21 tag board. And if you're like one of those aircraft World War II nerds, you might be into this part of the show. But
pushes up glasses.
Readjusts pen protector. So the D-21 was a unpiloted drone aircraft. The idea was originally to put kind of like whatever workings were needed for remote control in the A-12, but the Kelly Johnson again opposed this idea, insisted on a less complex aircraft for the drone because the A-12 had some apparently too hard to control shit. Sounds safe.
It's too hard to control with a remote, so you want to put somebody in there because it's easier?
That sounds dangerous.
I feel like it would be easier to do via remote. Whatever.
I'm not a scientist. So during the Cold War, Area 51 played a large part in testing foreign technology, mainly enemy aircraft like MiGs. I think that's what they're called. And they used code names like Have Donut, Have Drill, and Have Ferry.
I would love to have a donut.
And then following like, and this one is the biggest one to me, is the F-117. It's also known as Have Blue, and more commonly, I would say like the F-117 Nighthawk. Do you know what this is without knowing? Did you look at this picture?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did see
Did you know?
one.
Did you know what it was beforehand?
I think so.
Like I feel like
it
it's
looks
pretty
familiar.
Yeah. Like
you have to call me Nighthawk.
You say stealthy airplane. That's what I think of.
There's a bunch of routers because they look like the plane. Yeah. Nighthawk. 117. The B2 is also very similar looking, sort of. That was the one that I was thinking of specifically, but this one also looks quite familiar. Yes.
But yeah, there's other other programs. Those are some of the bigger ones.
Are we done with the basics? What they did, what it
Yeah, so you have kind of have an
what it maybe
idea
is,
of
what it
what
supposedly is, according to like
allegedly is going
yes.
on there.
So then you have some people who have allegedly worked there who are coming forward and saying that things aren't quite that straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I guess specifically, I'm just gonna start.
Can't
I'm just
mention
gonna
Area 51 without
dive into Bob Lazar. Yeah, like I don't. So I mean, I guess if we're gonna get technical, that's S4 is where he claims to have been employed, which is another facility. I think it was like I saw in one place like 8.5 miles. I also saw 15 miles south of the Area 51 facility.
Yeah, I want to say it was like a 23 that box you were talking about earlier.
I have the
was
size
like
of
23
the
by like
box.
51 or something.
23 by 25.
25, that's what I said.
I believe that's just the area of restricted airspace. I don't know if that's like the same on the ground where it's all boxed in as well, but either way. So Bob is, I guess, I see keep seeing self-proclaimed physicist. We'll get a little bit more into that in a second. Claims to have worked on reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology at a site, S4, that we just talked about a moment ago. Lazar claims that, quote, the UFO ran on an antimatter reactor that used the element 115 as fuel. He also claims to have read U.S. government briefing documents that describe alien involvement in human affairs. Lazar's claims resulted in bringing the secret site Area 51 to the attention of the public, as he again worked on some reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology. The craft supposedly that he was working with was from a planet orbiting a twin binary, or I guess it would be a binary star system known as Zeta Reticuli, and the planet was called ZR3.
Okay.
So in May of 1983, Lazar appeared in an interview with investigative reporter George Knapp on Las Vegas TV station KLAS under the pseudonym Dennis. He was on the show to discuss his employment at S4, a subsidiary factory he claimed exists near the United States Air Force facility Area 51. He said the facility was adjacent to Papoose Lake, which is located south of the main Area 51 facility at Groom Lake. The site consisted of concealed aircraft hangars built into a mountainside. Lazar said that his job was to help with reverse engineering one of the 9 saucers Bob claimed to have once seen. A flying saucer he coined the Sport model. It was manufactured out of a metallic substance similar in appearance and touch to stainless steel. In a subsequent interview that November, Lazar appeared unmasked under his own name. He claims to have earned his master's degree in physics from MIT and master's degree in electronic technology from Caltech. However, there are no records of Lazar attending either institution. It is suggested that his academic records were erased in an effort by authorities to discredit his claims.
I had also seen that the programs that he says he has masters for at Caltech and the other one weren't available at the time. Like, there weren't classes for those things that he's allegedly got masters from.
You couldn't get a master's degree in physics from MIT?
I don't have any support to back that up, but it is something I saw claimed on the internet.
I did not see that anywhere, but okay. I mean, this one's a little tinfoil hatty, you know? Like, sorry, but...
I wouldn't put it past him, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because he's employed there and he's supposed to like not talk to anybody about anything that's going on there. Anything that he does, like, he can't talk about. Can't tell your friends, can't tell your wife, you can't fucking tell anybody. And it's like a weird situation too, where like you go for like a week, like you fly out, you're there for a week, and then you fly back. So you work for like a week, you're off for a week. You work 2 weeks, you're off for 2 weeks, sort of thing. It's like a weird schedule. They just like call you in the middle of the night, and you're like, "Yep, we need you to come in and do something," and you just like go straight to the airport and go there for a week. Like, what?
That's weird.
Strange, but I guess okay. I guess he also claims that he worked at Los Alamos National Labs prior to his stint at S4
in '82, I think.
I believe around that time, yeah. I guess that was also under question because, you know, everything that he says is under question. But again, investigative journalist George Knapp was able to verify that he was in fact employed at the lab by finding Lazar's name listed on an internal phone book for the lab.
Oh, really?
So he did in fact work there.
I need to add this in because he does come off as a very smart guy. He
he
was
Joe
on Rogan. So.
We'll have like a clip or two from that in here too, and I'll probably just link to that whole interview. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was very good. And it's the way he's talking about things. Like he definitely knows what he's talking about when he's saying this. Unless he's just totally talking out of his ass, he at least knows the words to use. But I assume what he's saying is. You can, if you're smart enough to know what the fuck, like anything about isotopes, you could go and look it up and fucking fact check. Like, this is how this basic thing that people know works. That shit's over my head. I'm not a 100%. Scientist. I'm not a physicist. Sorry.
I wish I was because
I'm not smart enough for that shit. Yeah, no, but when he talks about it, it's it's definitely like you can tell he is aware of what he is saying. He is talking about it in a way that. I'm going to assume is correct because I have no desire to try and fact check that because I'm not smart enough.
Can we talk about the Joe Rogan thing for a bit?
What's up?
Okay, so I mentioned you earlier that it was convenient that he has a migraine during the show because he complains about it and isn't able to like remember.
It only really comes up
nearly.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but I told you that like I thought it was convenient, like.
I mean, stress migraines are definitely a thing that happens to people, and if you're really stressed out about having to do like an interview because you don't
he didn't want to do it. Yeah, he just like doesn't want to talk about it really. So I guess I get that, but if you're gonna go as far as to say that his name was erased from history, essentially, in different parts,
I mean, I mean. From history, no.
From college,
Okay, yeah. I want to say
he can't prove that
birth certificate as well
is faked.
No, it was
not
fucking
real.
Like not. It was like erased.
What?
The hospital where he says he was born, like, didn't have any records of him being born there. Allegedly.
He's just an actor. Government just paid him to. BS his way through life. Tell him this story. MK Ultra.
I saw some suggestion that some MK Ultra kind of shit goes on there too.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But I don't know. I think that's just kind of like conspiracy theory fodder being added. You know what I mean? It's fucking Area 51. Like, and again, like we're really like specifically right now, kind of talking about S4. So I guess.
Do we go right to Bob Lazar's jet-powered bicycle?
Oh, you can talk about that real quick. Yeah, I have some more shit about him too, but go for it.
Just real quick interjection. Bob Lazar allegedly, I have no reason not to believe this, made a jet-powered bicycle in like the late 1970s.
It's like a teenager? Yeah.
Just some kid.
Also saw that.
Got a rocket attached to it. And then years later, he gets old enough to buy a car and decides he's going to throw a fucking rocket in his Honda.
It's a jet engine, right?
Jet, yeah. Rocket's not accurate, but yeah. Jet engine.
I would have liked rocket power a lot more if it was just Bob Lazar on his fucking rocket bike.
No big deal.
There's a picture of him and the bike. There's a picture of him in the car.
And the car, yeah. Both
have those in the description, along with a lot of other photos.
Those are pretty interesting. I think one of them is a not really a picture of him, but a clip of an article, like picture of an article.
Okay.
I believe that is the Honda 82.
So he is credentials have been in question, but he has also claimed a lot of things about Area 51. One of them was specifically that the propulsions of the vehicle that he was studying was fueled by atomic element 115 and generates some sort of gravity wave. Element 115, now known as moscovium, is a, quote, synthetic chemical element with the symbol MC and atomic number 115. Moscovium is extremely radioactive element. Its most stable isotope, moscovium 290, has a half-life of only 0.65 seconds. Was first synthesized in 2003 by a joint team of Russian and American scientists at the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Dubna, Russia. In December 2015, it was recognized as one of the 4 new elements by Joint Working Party of International Scientific Bodies. On the 28th of November 2016, it was officially named after Moscow Oblast. To date, about 100 atoms of moscovium have ever been observed. So he's talking about this shit in like 89.
Yeah.
And it was not synthesized until 2003. And he's
talking about like different isotopes for it as well. Like more than just like, hey, this thing is powering our thing. Like,
sorry. That's specifically just like about the element. Now we have this information. That's not like what he's saying about it. Like, this is the half-life of its isotopes. That's like actually just like information off of it right now. Sorry.
I gotcha.
So again, he's talking about this in 89, claiming that they have a stable form of it used for the craft. As far as I know, we still do not like have a stable form of it. It's a very, again, I'm not a physicist, but I guess it's like a very like it decays quickly
or something.
The decay rate, I mean, again, the half-life was around a half a second, and it's only been observed like 100 times. So it seems kind of odd that if he wasn't a physicist,
would he know
and just
those
like
things?
made up element shit, like there's just a number of things that seem to add to some credibility on his behalf, and it's, I don't know, because like when I watch it, I'm like, part of me is like, nah, but the other part of me is like, no, totally, not totally. It's just because the content of what he's saying is unbelievable that I'm hesitant about it. I don't not believe him. I believe him. I'm pretty sure I believe him. I don't know. It's tough.
At least he believes his story type deal. Like, you believe he's telling the truth about it, but he might not exactly know the truth.
There was so another thing, there was talking about him on that podcast about some hand security scanner they had at the site. And again, people were saying that was bullshit, and they were using that to discredit him. But again, it does exist. I have a photo of it and a little bit of information about it. So the system worked by reading the length and curvature of one's fingers and finger webbings via a series of photocells installed in grooves over which a person's hand was placed. A pin stuck up between the middle and ring finger to the center of the user's hand, perfectly along the grooves. A bright 1,000-watt overhead lamp shined on the person's hand from above, and the system would compare the geometry of the user's hand with the data stored on file.
That sounds annoying to use. They still use that?
No, it's outdated as fuck. But
got, like,
people were like,
fingerprint
no,
scanners
that's
and
stupid.
stuff,
That doesn't exist. And then again, it definitely does
yeah.
exist. And there's photos. I will have a photo to link of it. I guess I have a couple of clips from that podcast that I wanted to include here.
In short order, it began to concern me. We really have no idea what we're talking about. And the excitement kind of turned to dread at some point, because the amount of power we're dealing with is astronomical. I mean, to affect gravity, to produce the effects like this equipment does, takes huge amounts of power. And I've given the example before of, taking a small portable nuclear reactor and, putting it back into Victorian times, with the scientists of the time, and just dropping it in a room. And they come and look at it and see that it's producing power and wonder how it works. So they start taking it apart. And as soon as they get some of the shielding off, the people are going to drop dead because of the radiation inside. Now, the people have no idea that radiation even exists back then. But anybody that comes in to check on them will also drop dead. And, there's no reason that exact scenario couldn't happen with what we're dealing with. We have no idea how the physics operate within this thing. The power levels are, like I said, astronomical. Like, it's incredibly dangerous to tinker with something like that. And, in some respects, we were guinea pigs. Just try to find out how to make this thing.
So they had a series, as far as you surmised, they had a series of different scientists try to back engineer this thing, try to figure out what this thing was, and they would bring in new people and let's throw Bob at it.
Yeah.
And they
I don't know how many, but I knew there was certainly one before me, and I knew he died during the analysis of the reactor itself.
And you don't know how many have worked on it, and no one gave any
This could have been
indication.
there for 50 years. It could have been there for 5 years.
When they're giving you instructions, what are they saying? Like when they're giving you direction, they're showing you all this stuff. Like what are they saying? What specifically? What are they asking of you?
Well, essentially what they ask is what I said. We are just to gather as much information as possible, find out how it operates, and see if we can duplicate it. So,
but they never told you where it was from. They never let you ask questions about where it's from.
Well, if the information I read in the briefings was accurate, now what I do have to say is the information that pertained directly to the reactor was accurate. What I read.
Well, I think that is kind of like his justification for why he came out with this information is he doesn't feel like it's like they should be doing that. It's not potentially very dangerous to be doing some of the things that you're doing and maybe not worth it in the long run if you're
hyper focused on one thing, you're gonna
if you're not considering
consider another thing,
ultimately, like, it could be like cool, like what if it like is just like a massive explosion or something, and it's like, I get you're out in the middle of the desert, but what if it's like bigger than that? I don't know. I get like the potential concern for that, just like you really don't know what you're fucking dealing with, like that doesn't make sense. So I think that was more of his like, that's kind of his like, this is my concern, like really, like this is why I'm doing this. And then there was another clip about just again. So he saw. I have something here about this too. He alleges that there was 9 craft in the facility, but he only worked on one of them. And one time he saw all of them.
You touched one at one point, didn't you?
So I guess he like said he got in trouble for it.
Yeah,
for touching
like
it
they
right
slapped
away.
him on his wrist or something.
He also talked about like it being really compartmentalized there too. So like. You're not given information about like the larger project or any other group's works or findings or progress or anything. You just have like your task and that's what you're doing just to keep people in the dark and shit like that. But again, I have this other clip here.
Now you said there's 9 of them and you got a brief glimpse at the other ones. How are they different?
Oh, they looked completely different. One looked like I called a Jell-O mold, and it looked like a classic Jell-O mold with the rippled sides to it. One was a very flat disc, like like a straw hat or something like that. That was sitting up on its edge, and the thin part of it looked like a projectile had been fired through the edge of it. So I don't know if they were attempting to see if the metal could be penetrated, or if that's where the thing came from. Maybe it was shot down. But that was the only one where I saw there was, actual physical damage to it.
And that one was roughly the same size? They
were kind of too far away to tell.
I've never heard of a Jell-O mold looking fucking UFO, but weird.
Like a bunt cake?
That's what I'm at with Jell-O mold. Like,
yeah. When I think of a Jell-O, like a Jell-O mold, it's
like okay.
Tall ass thing.
Yeah, like sort of, but like shorter.
Just jiggles around on a plate.
So, well, I mean, what do you think about Bob?
Obviously, very smart.
From when I have listened to him talk, he is
Seems
far more intelligent than myself. I want to say he got arrested. Also, if you saw anything about this, he's been raided by the FBI a couple of times. They were like the second time I think was like they ran a business where they just like this was just like a business that they were running that they sold like scientific equipment to people, and he has
that business, I believe.
Yeah, that maybe still do, but they got in trouble for like shipping stuff over state lines or something. They got fucked on some technicality like that, but. I want to say Tommy Chong also did on some bullshit. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
He went to jail for, I want to say like I don't know if it's his bong company or his sons or something. They work for, they do bongs now. That's what they do. So
makes sense.
They were, I don't know if it was the FBI or some sort of agency was like trying to bust them. So they like wanted them to ship, I don't know, it was like Pennsylvania or something, somewhere that you couldn't do it. They couldn't ship it to like overstate lines or to that state specifically, whatever it was. I think it was just you couldn't ship it overstate lines. They're like, oh no, like it's cool, dude. Like,
cop.
Yeah, exactly. And so they just like kept saying no and like over and over, and then they just like kept contacting different ways and like no. So then they like allegedly they hired somebody into the company to then like approve that shipping thing to send to him, so then they could come in and bust him.
What?
Yeah, he talked about, again, I think that was on
people are
JRE,
crazy,
but
dude.
Irrelevant, just fucking weird. The other one I think was for like abetting prostitution or something along the lines of that.
Oh boy, Bob.
I don't know. Doesn't give me any reason to believe that he is any less intelligent than he is, I guess.
No.
People have done weirder shit for much less. So, I guess real quick, I have a couple other quick things about some other individuals who have claimed to work there. So, in the 1996 documentary Dreamland, directed by Bruce Burgess, included an interview with a 71-year-old mechanical engineer who claimed to be a former employee at Area 51 during the 1950s. His claims included that he had worked on a, quote, flying disc simulator, which had been based on a disc originating from a crashed extraterrestrial craft and used to train U.S. pilots. He also claimed to have worked with an extraterrestrial being named J-Rod and described as a telepathic translator.
I don't know who J-Rod is. I'm disappointed in myself.
In 2004, Dan Burchick, pseudonym of Dan Crane, claimed to have worked on cloning alien viruses at Area 51, also alongside the alien named J-Rod. His scholarly credentials are apparently up for some debate, as he was apparently working as a Las Vegas parole officer in 1989 while also earning a PhD at the State University of New York.
We gotta go save him.
J-Rod.
Come on, J-Rod. I want a Naruto run right in there, dude. I'll save you.
Yeah. What do you...
Again,
I don't... He seems like he is far more intelligent than me, and
100%.
We know he worked at that lab, but like that's all the information that we have on him working at the lab. I don't know if like they also contacted them and just didn't get a response, or if they were denied, because he's had his birth certificate where he was supposedly born. Like, yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah.
Everywhere he's worked, everywhere he went to school, like all that shit is just like, yeah, no, he never worked here. So either he's like this massive fucking lie, and everybody in his life is just like, cool, we're gonna go with it. I guess so. When he got back to him real quick, I get when he got like fired or whatever, he started bringing people out like to a spot where they could see it, just like on the hills, because he knew when they were going to be testing stuff. So like I guess there was occasions where like they would actually like be somebody like flying a fucking UFO. Okay. And so then like, you know, I don't know if it was those or when they were testing other things, but I believe it was when they were flying those. He knew when the tests were going to be. I want to say they were on Wednesdays, but either way. So he'd get like a group of friends together, and they'd like just fucking go out and just sit there and just fucking watch them. Yeah. And they were out there. I think they brought like a bunch of cameras and shit, and then like they got rolled up on.
Yeah.
Because they were just like sitting out there like with a bunch of people, and I think they had like lights from the cameras and shit. So then like, yeah, they just got rolled up on. They're like, you realize you can't do this because we told you can't fucking tell anyone, right? like what the fuck?
That's awesome.
I get why they would maybe want to discredit him.
Oh yeah.
I could see the benefit in that if he is coming forward and telling there's some shit going on here. But at the same time, like Area 51 is so much in that like people are aware of it so much so that there's no way anything is still going on there today, right? Like of that magnitude. It still exists, but like it can't be, you know what I mean? Like it can't, if everybody knows about it, because everybody knows about it, right?
Everybody. Right
you
now,
really think they're still doing shit there?
Everybody. I would hope not.
There's not a Wikipedia page on S4 is what I will say, but if it's fucking 8 miles away, like...
Yeah, you're gonna, catch one or the other. It's in a fucking flat desert. Like,
yeah, right.
Flat desert and mountains. Like, you're gonna sit on the mountains, you're gonna see the whole damn thing. Yeah, I don't know. I would doubt they're doing anything there unless they feel really secure in what they're doing there.
I think
they have some pretty good security protection stuff. Like,
I don't know. Well, I think he's kind of also on that Ancient Aliens train.
Bob?
Yeah. Correct.
I mean, I'm into that,
So am I, dude.
let's do it.
Let's be real.
Friday nights, I think, is Ancient Aliens on History Channel.
Not a sponsor, but probably could be.
Definitely would be into that, though I don't have.
I just need a phone call from Giorgio Tsoukalos, and we can call it even.
I want just Giorgio Tsoukalos to introduce our show.
Welcome. He's very grandiose.
Man, what do you do? Do you think they can't be doing shits there still, can they?
In my mind,
like
it can't be that intense. Like if that is what they were doing there, as soon as people start to be like aware of that, like shut that shit down, you move it somewhere else. I don't know if we really talked about like the idea of like underground being connected to S4 and like all the underground stuff, because like we haven't really talked about DUMBs on the show before at all, like deep underground military bases or whatever like that. So I think that's what it stands for. Either way, God damn it, I feel obligated to mention Phil Schneider mentioning DUMBs, but I don't have a tie-in. I don't have a tie-in. It's just from what I have, and I remember seeing an interview with him from forever ago too, and like I was really interested in his story. It's just, it's weird.
I don't have anything to.
All right, let me pose this to you in a different way. If you run the government and you are in possession of 9
aliens,
craft,
okay, I'd be flying them bitches around. That sounds awesome.
Correct. Where would you do it? Just in front where everybody can see it? I mean, fucking UFO sightings, whatever.
I'm flying that shit everywhere, probably, dude. I'll be like, check this out, dude.
Okay.
I'm flying over to Jacob's house.
Maybe you're a shit example of this.
Yeah,
but...
I'm a shit example. I want this to be a thing.
I mean, he's really where pretty much the like alien and all the controversy stuff is introduced. Like, it's a secret base, so I know that there's speculation of just like anything anyway. But when he comes forward and says that this is actually what's going on here, that's really the start of all of it. Why anybody really cares. That's why he's credited as like bringing Area 51 to the public.
How does he know all this if it's so compartmentalized?
Dog, they talked about this fucking thing in the episode about time that broke my fucking brain. Like like at the moment of birth, if you put a watch, or somebody puts a watch on you and your mom puts a watch on too, and at the exact same time, like in fucking 20 years, like the time will not be the same on the watches. Even
one's
if
gonna die sooner than the other.
No. Even if like the watches don't die, nothing
ass.
happens to them. They end up being a different time.
Because on distance traveled,
I think that's part of it. Yeah, it's just like time is different when you fucking.
So like
what? Why?
It's like the twin brothers did the NASA experiment where one went in space and one didn't.
Yeah, but he's in space. That's so much more so. Like it seems like the amount that you would do is just like negligible.
Right. Yeah.
They're just like going about your daily life. You're just like, yeah, like I walked down the street and back 150 times. You didn't do that, but you walked a really far away.
Yeah, but say you're traveling on an airplane, like you're traveling faster, covering more ground than the other person.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just
to be like putting
what if
a pedometer on somebody.
I don't know.
Put a pedometer on somebody and track their miles.
I don't remember. I think supposedly he's talked about like having read something about aliens. Like ancient alien shit in his debriefing thing.
Okay. I don't recall.
That one I maybe was not from the most credible site, but I do not recall. I do remember having seen that somewhere. So I think I'm done on him.
One of the only things that I saw where aliens come in contact with Area 51, or maybe the first report of aliens at Area 51.
Or maybe ultimately the reason for Area 51.
Correct, maybe. So according to an article on MUFON.com, Mutual UFO Network, the article speaks of a I guess, of the first of the Roswell UFO incident books, titled The Roswell Incident, published in 1980. And keep in mind, the Roswell incident happened in 47.
Yes.
So this one is like pretty far removed from the event, which is kind of weird. But I guess if you allegedly interviewed 90 people, you might need that much time to gather.
Well, and if it's a lot of it's probably like top secret sort of stuff. So you have like people waiting for like NDAs to expire and things like that when you're like, you can't talk about it, or like on your deathbed sort of thing, maybe, in my mind. So I could see where that would take some time, but
who knows? And the book was written by Charles Berlitz and William Moore. So I have a quote here from MUFON about where the idea of aliens at Area 51 comes from. And quote, the Roswell incident introduced an alien account by Socorro, New Mexico resident Barney Barnett, who had died years earlier. Friends of Barnett said he described the crash of a flying saucer and the recovery of alien corpses in the vicinity of Socorro, about 150 miles west of Foster Ranch. He and a group of archaeologists stumbled upon an alien craft and its occupants on the morning of July 3rd, only to be led away by military personnel. Further accounts suggested that the aliens and the craft were transported to Edwards Air Force Base in California. The book suggested that either there were two crafts that crashed, or the debris from the vehicle Barnett described had subsequently landed on the Foster Ranch after an explosion. So that's loosely where aliens come from in Area 51.
Roswell?
Yeah.
With all of the advanced technology, and obviously if they're just testing spy planes and shit, people then see UFOs. So there was UFOs reported in the area was a common thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we have talked about that yet at all. I don't think we need to go into much more detail than that, but the fact that with these advanced weapons or aircraft testing comes occasional sightings. People are around still, so it happens. But my quick Roswell tie-in was from an Ann Jacobson book in the 2011 book, Area 51, An Uncensored History of America's Top Secret Military, allegedly based on interviews with scientists and engineers who worked at Area 51, dismisses the alien story of Roswell. Jacobson quotes one unnamed source claiming that Joseph Mengele, a German officer and physician in Auschwitz, was recruited by the Soviet leader Joseph Stalin to produce, quote, grotesque child-size aviators to be remotely piloted and landed in America in order to cause hysteria similar to Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. The aircraft, however, crashed and the incident was hushed up by the Americans. Jacobson reported about a dubious source that found bodies at the crash site were children around 12 years old with large heads, abnormally shaped, oversized eyes, and that they were human guinea pigs.
Jesus.
So she alleged that this dude created little people to be in the fucking plane that crashed, or the craft that crashed at Roswell that was remotely piloted. So it wasn't like, yeah.
I don't think that they had the technology for a remotely
that
piloted
one is
12-year-old carrying spaceship.
Maybe a little dubious.
So, I'm not buying it. Get out of here with that.
I think that's really it. Is like Bob is most of it.
Yeah.
Like, again, you have some sightings. Like it's a fucking hot spot. You can't like get too close. There's signs and stuff, and if you fucking go there, like people will show up with guns and tell you to leave.
Yep.
That's what they say. So
I've never been there, but
I mean, are you going on September 20th, Connor?
I will be going.
Are you?
And I'm gonna stop at the Del Tacos in Area 51.
Hey, all right.
They've got some new vegan burritos I want to eat. But seriously, they have vegan burritos, and there's allegedly a Del Taco on the Air Force Base. I don't know how true it is, But the comments
Just
on
so
Google are
so what you're saying is some
hilarious.
guy has to be like aware of what's going on there, but just works at the Del Taco. So it's not like an FBI agent was trained to work at Del Taco, though, right?
No, I think he just doesn't see anything. Like you're
But like,
escorted
you
from
don't hear
work.
anything. You just like fly out to a secret military base. You got like a fucking DQ at Del Taco and fucking what else you got out there? You know what I mean? I don't know. That
China
seems
buffet.
weird. China buffet. All right. Well, let me know how your Del Taco is. I, for one, will not
You're
be
not
going.
going.
No, I refuse to believe that an organization that is rumored to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology is not in possession of at least one freeze ray. So I think y'all are fucked.
Freeze ray?
Yeah, bitch.
You think you're just gonna freeze ray all of us?
You can't stop us all. They're gonna freeze you all. One click of a button.
No, the Naruto runners.
The Naruto
are
runners are fine. Okay. So I do have real quick off of the Independent. There's something about this about the storm the castle shit here.
Yeah.
So there's somebody from the Air Force commenting about this. So this is I'll link to this in the description as well. So Area 51 is an open training range. So I guess the site is an open training range for the U.S. Air Force, and we discourage anyone from trying to come into the area where we train American armed forces, she said. Miss McAndrews added, the U.S. Air Force always stands ready to protect America and its assets, but she failed to elaborate on the specific details around how officials would react to potential intruders.
Are you afraid, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm not going to go get shot. Nothing's going on there anymore. I, for one, will be watching the news very closely that day. Maybe I'll, what day of the week is that? What day of the week is that? Let me look at this real quick. It's a Friday. Sick. Maybe I'll take the day off and just kind of like
3-day week.
Chill at home and just like watch the news. I'll live stream anything if it comes up and fucking be the news for that somehow. I don't know. I'll
be the on-site reporter.
Yeah, on site in my basement.
We need a green screen stat.
Just get a fucking use that. Just a blanket. A fitted sheet.
Yes.
All right. Where are you at? What do you think?
I'm not convinced with this research that anything is going on in Area 51.
I don't believe anything is currently like going on there now.
Black projects, airplanes, stealth, maybe some technologies that we're not aware of yet. Maybe. But UFOs and aliens, I want to believe so hard, but I don't think there's anything there.
You start to lose me a little bit at like when you start getting into like other planets and stuff too. I don't know. Again, he was like, I don't really know where they got this information, but that's just what I had read in my briefing. And he had also talked about in other parts of it, like when he was originally going through the briefing, he saw a lot of this really weird stuff in there, but I guess it's not uncommon for them to include like weird things that don't actually matter for various reasons. Like, so if you are to like, okay, I'm going to go public with this and I have this information, they do like, you can compartmentalize it. So you're like, okay, cool. We told this guy it was at this planetary system and this guy's in this planetary system. This is the information that these people are saying about the planetary system. So we can trace it back to you.
Oh shit.
Or like, even just like then cool, like we're going to quiz you on this stuff and ask you about all these ridiculous things that you probably weren't paying attention to. Or, what was the other possibility that he suggested?
Wasn't one to see
Just, oh, go ahead.
Maybe that first one makes sense. What I was gonna say is to like see if they're gonna keep the secret, like how.
Well, it's just I mean, like
to kind of gauge where they're at.
I suppose maybe. I mean, but yeah, sort of fall into that too. Again, like if that information is leaked somehow, I think it was just like so you could trace it or like fuck. I wish I could remember how else he described it. I would recommend watching that interview though. Like it's pretty good. Talk about some interesting shit in there for sure.
There's a new movie coming up also.
It might already be out.
Well, I guess you're right. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I also haven't seen it. Probably should have watched it before I did this.
I think I fell asleep while starting to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Must not have been that good. I don't remember much of it. So take that as it is. So we answered if we were gonna go.
Yeah, you say you're going. I'm not. What does Instagram say?
Instagram, 6 votes for yes,
No shit.
5 votes for no.
Ah, okay. Still more. Y'all are crazy.
Let's go.
I mean, I'd
Counting
love to
Cryptids
go.
meetup.
I'd love to go, but like not on a day where there's like. Right now, what is it? Up to 170 million people have signed the thing saying they're going.
I thought at one point I saw 2.2, but yeah, the latest I saw was 1.7.
Do you actually think like 10% of those people will show up? Because a couple of people are for sure going to be there.
It's a couple months away. I think people are going to forget about it by then.
Not everybody, for sure.
Not everybody.
Somebody is going to show up. There's going to be like 4 guys. You'll be like, where the fuck are the other 2 million people?
678% or 1.678 million of those 1.7 million are going to forget. There'll be like 8 people there.
Remember the 20th of September. I
will put it in my calendar.
I mean, I definitely think that if people like are trying to break onto a facility where there is like fencing and signs, like there's pressure plates, they know when you're coming down the road and shit. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if they had like landmines or some shit.
There's right. Probably fucking could be. Who knows?
Blow your legs off.
Literally, I don't see it ending well. I think a lot of people are going to get fucking hurt.
Naruto runners will knock out.
I think there's going to be like a very small percentage of those people who show up, and if they are actually ballsy enough to like go through with what they're thinking they're there to do, that's what I'm thinking too.
I'm going yes for the memes, but no in reality.
Again, I'd love to go out and like see the sign and then drive away and fucking cry myself to sleep. Go eat at the Del Taco. I don't know.
The Del Taco is in the thing allegedly.
Oh shit! It's like, damn it. Okay. There's no way I'm making it to the Del Taco then. Maybe I'll hit one on the way. Well, if you're gonna go, hit us up over on social media and let us know that you will be attending.
Somebody doesn't send me pictures, I'm gonna be so mad.
If you wanna send me exclusive videos of you attending,
petting
I will put those on social media. If you get to meet J-Rod, J-Rod, what they call him?
J-Rod.
A-Rod's the baseball player, right?
yeah. Send your selfies to us.
Connor just asked you to send
internet.
nudes. So I guess last week we talked about giants.
Yeah,
I don't know how we do a 1v1. We did not talk about this at all.
Bob Lazar, throw him in the ring. Let's go.
All right, versus a giant.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta go giant. Right.
He's probably gonna get speared like Dan, dude.
Maybe can he have like a ray gun or something that he built?
I mean, he could probably build his way out of it for sure.
MacGyver his way out.
Yeah. He's a smart man. I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, maybe like an alien, like aliens would be a better.
Aliens would be definitely
a better
1v1
opponent. I mean, like we kind of did this with the intention of like getting into some more alien sort of things coming soon too.
We kind of crushed it though before we ever got to aliens. But I usually they're gray aliens is what they are depictions of.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's
most commonly
grays.
thought are there.
That's what I'm gonna go with, just basically. But no, fuck it. We'll just go Bob. Fuck it.
Bob Lazar. Okay. Bob Lazar, if you think you can win this fight, hit us up on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, social media.
This is the dumbest fucking.
I want to know how you think you will fare.
Yeah, because Bob's going to fucking hit us up. All right, but the rest of you, go over to social media and let us know what you think. We asked the same thing last week about giants and Ogopogo. We are resumed. All right, so social media stuff.
Yeah.
You have answers for last week's poll for me.
I do.
Ogopogo and giants.
Yeah, so on Instagram, who was our leading voters?
Our leading leader?
Yes, leading the voters in votes. And anyway, 47% voted for Ogopogo and 53% voted for the Giants.
Okay.
So the Giants win there. Facebook comes in second. And 80% of those people thought that Giants would win.
87?
80%.
80%. Okay.
And then Twitter.
Oh no.
Back to, they had one good week.
Stern look.
And then they back down.
All right.
Come on. But everyone on Twitter, every single person on Twitter voted for Giants.
We were in disagreement on that. I think I went Ogopogo and Giants won. Did you go Giants? Is that what happened? How are you always right?
People's choice. I don't know.
All right.
I even put a Canadian flag by Ogopogo.
I'm pretty sure I said Ogopogo, right?
Damn, I don't remember.
I'm relatively certain that is what happened.
Were we split?
I think we were split. Let me pull this up and double check because I think you decided a giant because you gave him a spear, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go sea monster that's 50 feet long.
I don't know if I remember.
Are y'all paying attention to what you're voting for here? Come on.
No. Let us know in the comments if you voted because of me or because
it
of
just voted
Giants.
to spite me.
I think that's what it is. After the picture of the redheads last week.
Oh, okay. I get it.
They're afraid of large redheads. And promise he's not that bad. Sit with
It just
him
happened
for
to spite
hours.
me. How about you head over to social media? Let us know what you think
Yeah, do the thing.
of this week's polls. Again, Bob Lazar versus Giants. I'm guessing Giants got 2 weeks in a row, unless the internet's feeling gracious and wants to give it to Bob. I'd love to give it to him, but I don't know if I can in this instance. I do think I believe him though. I don't know. He seems smart.
Yeah, he does. All right.
Well, thanks for checking out the show.
Hopefully you come to a better conclusion than we do.
For some reason this is the first episode that you've ever listened to and you're still here.
Fucking congratulations.
Wow. All right, cool.
According to my analytics, 98% of the people don't make it past 5 minutes.
Actually?
No, I made
Oh,
that up.
Jesus Christ. You just gave me a heart attack.
Why are we doing an hour-and-a-half long podcast?
Fucking Jesus. Yeah, just hit
5
that
minutes.
up on that Jabba Fofi train. Just fucking read the first paragraph off of Wikipedia directly off your phone on camera.
Cut it.
But yeah, if you happen to be new here,
Thank you.
thanks.
If you're not new here, and
Also
you've been
thanks.
around for a while, super thanks.
If you're new here, season 1's rough.
Yeah.
I got nothing else. I don't know.
All right.
I have shut down
See you in 2 weeks.
for maybe an actual cryptid.
Yeah. Adios. Thanks for checking out this week's episode.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, answer this week's polls on social media.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, as well as Discord.
Links for all the social media, as well as everything else we talked about on the show, are available at gobblesquatch.com.
If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to chat, you can email us at countingcryptids@hotmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and tell your friends.
I've been Connor,
I've been Jacob.
and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another fascinating installment of Counting Cryptids.